young student from Nowra who's going off on a European trip. He won the Premier's Anzac Memorial Scholarship to take him to some of the battlefields that Australian soldiers fought at in World War One. Just this morning, I caught up with him as he's in the middle of his trip, and he chatted to me from his hotel room in France this morning.
At the moment, I'm in Amiens. So we went back to the Fromelles cemeteries, the Commonwealth war grave cemeteries at Fromelles and the museum there. And we also went to a few outposts around the French area near Fromelles on our way to Amiens, where we are.
And I hear you've been spending some time actually in uniform, sort of an immersive kind of experience. Can you tell me about that?
Yesterday. So we started off the day just going through the museum, and then we went and put on these uniforms, like World War One, pretty authentic uniforms. We had to carry packs and like gas masks and a rifle with us and everything. And we had a few students were like selected to be medics or bombers or whatever. And so it was all like, it was quite an immersive experience. We walked from the museum to Tyne Cemetery, as they did a march during World War One.
And what was it like being in the uniform? What did that feel like?
It was quite an immersive experience, and especially doing the walk, and we did a few drills and stuff, which helped you to really, it kind of helped to connect a bit as well, like to feel kind of, it was only a very short time, but it was like, you felt how, like, a little glimpse of, like, you're not comfortable, you're boiling hot, like, it's very, and especially because it's really hot over here in France.
Now, you've never been to Europe before, but you spent such a long time anticipating this. What's the reality been like getting there finally?
The reality's been far better than anything I could have anticipated. Everything's so beautiful. All the buildings and just the scenery and everything. It's just been amazing.
I suppose you have to imagine a lot of that beauty out of there and just imagine the terror, don't you?
Exactly. Especially trying to think of the World War One experience as well. Think of the soldiers and the people. It's kind of hard to imagine it, like seeing these like long fields of just grass everywhere and trying to imagine that as just mud, like a flat plain of mud and dirt and trenches. It's quite a interesting juxtaposition.
So let's go back to the beginning. You took off from Australia, pretty long trip, I'd imagine. What was the first thing you did?
So first thing we did, once we landed in Paris, we actually went, we did a little bit of sightseeing, went around Paris, looked at all the, like the monuments, like the Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe, quick stop at the Louvre, and then we actually went to the embassy and we met the ambassador, His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley.
You've got the governor with you as part of this tour.
Well, we met him that one day, which was, he gave a very moving speech on everything that's going on at the moment and helping to, like, and telling us, like, when you're in these areas, looking at, like, the grass and the hills and all the areas, like, to try and just, as hard as you can, just imagine what it would be like.
To have been a young man from Australia fighting rather than seeing the sights.
Yeah.
And so what have you got on the rest of the agenda, Noah?
We're looking at more. We're going to 8 different places around the area, to different outposts and trenches and all sorts of stuff. And then on Saturday, we're going to the Pozières centenary commemoration ceremony.
And what have these commemorations been like?
They've been awful. They've been really moving. They've been really interesting. It's hard to imagine. 100 years is something very hard to imagine, and that it's been 100 years since these awful events and quite tragic events. And the amount of passion that everyone speaks with, and the way they it's an amazing experience.
And what do you think this will do for you once you get back home?
a greater appreciation for what soldiers have fought for, and how lucky I am to be where I am today and not be in such a time of fear as it was then. That's part of it, and also just an amazing and more outlook on the world as a whole.
Do you feel very lucky to be your age and an Australian in 2016?
Very, absolutely.
And how are you getting on with all the other people on the tour with you?
Everyone's really good. It's been really good getting to know all the people are just great. It's been a really good group of people. Everyone's really nice, funny, friendly. It's been great.
Have you had a chance to miss Mum and Dad back at home yet?
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, you're a long way from home, and when will we expect to see you home?
I'm getting home on Monday in Australia.